Welcome to an exciting new episode of The Speaking Citizen. I am Mehru Jafar. Today I have with me Rima Das, who brings lots of heartwarming news from the very troubled area of the Northeast. Rima brings from Assam a film filled with joy that is infectious, despite the constant struggle faced by the many characters in the same story. Rima belongs to a village in Assam that is about 50 kilometers southwest of Guwahati. It is her love for cinema that brought Rima from Assam to Mumbai, where she came initially looking for work as an actress. But over time, Rima has emerged as a national award winning filmmaker. She did not formally study filmmaking. She is a one-person film, natural filmmaker whose work does absolute justice to master filmmakers like Satyajit Ray, Ingmar Bergman, and Majidi, whose cinema, she says, is her only teacher, apart from, of course, life itself. Her latest feature film is shot in Assam. Titled Tora's Husband, the film was first screened at the Toronto International Film Festival. Its Asian premiere was at the Busan International Film Festival, while the Indian premiere was at the Kolkata International Film Festival. The good news is that the film releases in 40 cinemas around the country this coming Saturday. I love Tora's Husband as it offers everything that seems to be missing in life today. Values like tender human relationships, friendships, humanity, love, understanding of each other, and our respective responsibilities to each other. This film is such a breath of fresh air in today's stifling environment filled with so much of debilitating hate and violence. My first question to you, Rima Das, is what was on your mind when you wrote, shot, and edited this gem of a film?
Thank you. And first of all, I really want to thank you that you liked the film. And in the beginning, I started this film just after 3 months lockdown. So I was stuck in Mumbai and I came back to my village. And then slowly people I saw that they were working, and it just came to my mind how from my side I could continue contribute at that time. And that's how it was a very tough decision to start. And so and that time it was also not very uh, I mean, it was difficult to approach people to act, also to work in the film as a crew. But I was lucky that I started with my family and neighbors. And also, I found two guys to do sound, and that's how we started. In the initial stage, it was a husband wife story, and how in a small town in the backdrop of COVID, how a husband is, struggling with family, then his business, and with friends. But when I was out, then I started seeing so many things. So stories started evolving with time. And I think I shot that film almost 2 years, more than 2 years. So when I started, then the life was very different. But later on, slowly, when after 2 years, things gradually like was getting normal. Then also, so it was a thought process quite complex. I was not even sure about the story also. And edited, re-edited after also Toronto. I traveled to other festivals in Toronto. And finally, before release, 22nd, we have released the film here in Assam and exclusively. And from 29th, film going to be released other parts of India and Australia too. Yes.
So, what was your own life like during the lockdown and the pandemic? Because you're an independent filmmaker
Right, right.
with no sponsorship, no
Yes.
support. So, how much of your own life is also in the film during the lockdown?
I think it is there. It is also reflection of my life because this film was totally the challenging one for me. It was not like earlier films. The whole thing, everything was challenging. Everyone knows like how the time of COVID. So in the beginning, there was a restlessness everywhere, and that restlessness also in me and with the cast and the crew. And so as a producer, and I had to manage a lot, and that took in like my health, and not only physical but emotional and mental health I was also suffering. And but the blessing for me, because I have my own camera and setup, because I was doing like cinematography, and I'm used to, like from my previous films, I play different roles. So that was one advantage, and that kept me going. And because of that, I think this is the fourth film from our production house, Flying River Films. And mostly when I'm doing something from my production house, I mostly do things by myself because it takes time. Village Roxas took almost 3 years, and then Bulbul Can Sing took 2 year, 1.5 years, and this film also almost over 2 years. So because I'm playing different roles, I think that is one of the most, I think, that way I was privileged. But otherwise, it was quite challenging, because the film is shot in that natural condition and the situation. And
Was
it
life during the pandemic, life in your village in Assam, was it very different to life in Mumbai?
I think it is slightly different. I feel here people I found more careless, you know, and the Mumbai it was more strict environment, but here I think it was like it is difficult here, to probably follow protocols, but it's not that when we are shooting also I couldn't follow. In the beginning we started like quite with strict protocol, but later on we couldn't, like everywhere it was chaos.
Mm.
So but more or less it that fear was there, constant fear was there. And that was the most, I think, challenging part. And we were also careful, you needed to be very careful. That was to each other and as a producer and director, so my responsibilities were, it was like lots of pressure on me. And the story also transformed later on because after a month of shooting I lost my father suddenly. I think that was the moment even my personal life changed drastically. And as a filmmaker, because that time it was hard for me to take a decision to continue the film or stopped. But some of my inner voice, I knew that if I stopped that time, I couldn't have continued this film. But because of that grief, I think inside, I was not healed. And it really, it was difficult for me. later. Yes. And if my father would have been there, I feel like story would have been also different.
But I think you've woven your father's death into the film in a very beautiful, objective way, without playing the victim. I have a question on that later on. I want to ask you, if you cast your brother and your sister-in-law in the lead role, um, mainly due to economic compulsions, or was there any other reason?
Especially my sister-in-law, she was very much interested, like she always wanted to act. So that was one of the reason. And the second reason was that time it was hard, that it was impossible to approach any other people and professional people. And even I didn't know also that later on, I started with family and neighbor, but later on so many people, you know, they involved and they were acting, they were helping. I didn't know about that. It happened like in the later stage, because when I am just we had a premiere, and I when I was watching the film, oh, there are so many people in the film. So that was, I think, a miracle happened. And I was also when I started the film, I was not so much aware, but later on, when especially Abhijit, my brother, he surprised me. I didn't know that he, because from my childhood I wanted to be an actor. I never saw his interest in acting, but he definitely surprised me. And because I'm working last almost 6 years with different actors and non-actors and professional actors, so I in the initial stage only I recognize his talents, how beautiful he is, and that definitely helped me. And one of the main reasons I didn't stop. Yes.
He's very, very good. You have to tell him the way he uses his body and the way he stands in front of the camera. He's really wonderful to witness.
Thank you. Definitely, I'll convey this message to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But unlike most stories that are about heroes, about exceptional people, who are different to the run of the mill human being, you like to concentrate in most of your work, you've concentrated on documenting the life and times of ordinary people, whether it's Bulbul or Tora. What is it that inspires you about the existence of the common man?
When I look at India, I feel like however privileged you are, when you are just uh, you are out from your home, that's the real India. If you are living in a very tall building, you just getting down, that's our India. And this like ordinary people, I always see extraordinary life, and they always inspires me, how living in deprivation also, and how beautifully they are carrying their life, and always like passionate hearts, they inspire me. I see people, because I'm coming from village. Even in the film Village Rockstars, I saw from my childhood, I saw flood, but I didn't realize, by the time I was shooting, because I was a child that time, and I left early. When I was in college, I was in city. I was like studying in cities. But when I was shooting Village Rockstars, then I realized, because I saw how they were farming, and how hard it is. Then the crops are underwater, it's flooded. And then after a week, they are again celebrating life, get back to their work. And that inspires me, and I always feel like they are not getting proper due. They are always mostly exploited. And I think I see something really in India, how also they are not bitter in hearts, you know. So maybe, maybe it's my own
That
observation.
makes your work so unusual because it is not only about Superman and the Charlie's Angels or people who do incredibly unusual things, but your lead is always people just struggling with the very mundane day-to-day problems in life. The film is also unusual because I don't think I've seen any cinema where you begin with death, because death is always implies the end, but your movie begins with death and ends, with such a gentle lust for life, for wanting to continue to live and to live together in love and in laughter with other human beings. That is such an incredible conclusion in a film, I thought.
Thank you so much. I even didn't realize, because it is mostly when I'm shooting, editing my film, it's my intuition. But when you are now mentioning that, oh, it starts with death and it's ending with life, oh, that's beautiful. I didn't even realize that. Because I feel like when I am living in this world, there are a lot of, you know, challenges are there. Uh, but still, we always look to be happy, you know. And I have, because I'm coming from a village, like then finish my education, then landing like in Mumbai, struggling to become an actor. Then suddenly I started watching world cinema. Then I suddenly become a filmmaker, and I have seen so like ups and downs, then traveling around the world with my films. Then I realized that it's all about love. So when sometimes when I'm making my films, I feel like, am I making the same films? Sometimes I question myself. But till now, I'm always hopeful, and I feel like there are so many there are troubles in the world. Even there is a gap now between adults and new generation. It's fast moving, so we always look for something, hope, you know, love. So when I make my movies, finally with this film also, it was really, I was wondering what will be the end, you know. And I was not sure, that we all were not sure that one day again things will be normalized. You know, we'll go to cinema, we'll go to a restaurant, we'll go and travel, I mean outside probably, or in the places we want to visit. But interestingly, when things were not normalized, that time also my ending was the same. And because I thought, it let it be like let it be like a beautiful ending, because maybe it is my imagination. But later on, when I edited, slowly things actually normalized, and I was happy that when during the time of, you know, pandemic also, I decided to keep the ending like the same. You can see now.
You
Yes.
also imagine a similar life enforcing ending for all the trouble that is faced in your neighborhood in Manipur.
Yes, it's really sad, but what I can say now, it is really, I mean, heartbreaking. This is at this time in India to see this kind of situation is, I mean, it's a shame for us, I think. But I know that sometimes, probably for some people, it is not real, you know. Some people, they can question me that it's not with everyone, you know. So many people, they are facing everyday troubles. But but I feel like as a filmmaker, because it's how, when I question myself how I can contribute, I want to contribute with,
Of course, of
but
course.
and also with time, because people, like, it has been 1 year film is traveling, and people always ask me about the film, you know. And then recently, I mean, I started reading Gita, a frozen shoulder, and I am like, oh, I cannot just move my hand, you know. And I was suffering severe pain out of nowhere. And then I started also reading, looking for philosophy. Then I was reading Gita, and there I read that how, like, grief is also yoga, you know. When you have grief and troubles, it's also, it helps to, I mean, the, like, great personality development, because that time you look for philosophy, you look for guidance, you know. So things are there, as we all know, in Manipur, but it's our neighbor, sisters state. Earlier we were one, like Assam. Now we are seven sisters. So it's really sad. It is really sad.
So
But
you have screened your beautiful film around the world. What are some of the reactions of the audiences that have stayed with you? You know, audiences who are not Assamese, who are not Indian. Um, can you recall some of the reaction to your film?
mostly people, like, not with this film. This film, like, now in Assam, because this 3 days, I'm also meeting people, like, during the time of our premiere, as well as I'm visiting theaters also, just meeting people, how, because that way we connect and share our, you know, emotions. So I feel like in the beginning, some parts somewhere I felt like, because it is the film is based in the background of COVID. Sometimes I also felt that that time they were not ready. Some people, and most of the people, the good thing is that they feel they can relate with it. You know, they relate with, they see them in the characters. They think that it is also their story, you know. And they always feel like, I mean, it's quite realistic, quite natural, everything. It doesn't look like a film, but it is looking like they are seeing life. So these are the things. And they also said how I'm not, as a filmmaker, probably judgmental, but trying to see both, like, female and male's perspective, their lives as it is. And also not focusing only on our main characters, but it is also a documentation of other people whose voices are ignored. You know, we look at our problems, we think our problems are bigger, but when we see the other side, they don't even have voice. So these are the things mostly I got feedback from them.
Very, very beautiful. But do you think you got this reaction from outside of India also because the connecting emotion was the pandemic, which was suffered by the whole world. So
Yes, yes, yes. So yes, same reactions I got from outside, and only here in Assam, because they know the lifestyle and the language so well, they are getting little nuances also. You know, they are little nuances they are getting very well. And outside, they also said that they like that the film is quite subtle. It's not overly dramatic, but
yeah,
subtle. That is also they like.
that is true. And is Abhijit in real life, is he such a fantastic football player, or is he only acting?
He used to be. Yeah, yes, yes. So I know that he used to be a football player, and that's the reason I brought that in the film.
He's
Because
so
I've
good.
seen thank you, because I've seen so many people that they are talented, and mostly in India, this if you are playing something or you are singing or acting, even parents and society, they don't even consider still, like it's like a, they can take it as a profession. They don't take it as a, they don't take your dreams seriously still. They want you to be a teacher, doctor, or any other government job they want you to take. So I thought, because he used to play, he was a good player, then I tried to incorporate how, you might have a dream, but you get into something which probably you are not enjoying, you know so finding your ikigai.
I think he enjoys also very much his bakery and the cakes and the food. So I think
Yeah,
uh,
sometimes what happens, I have seen people, they take it, and after some time they have no other options, and as they start enjoying. But I like the character because how passionate he is. And being here, because I'm like almost 6 months I'm working here, and that is also coming from my personal life, how hard it is to find someone who is focused and who has a long term goal. And mostly, like, people, they want to earn, they don't want to learn. I mean, in short time they want to reach somewhere. And I am so passionate and it's just I find it sometimes really difficult here. And mostly, I see in every business here, people, because they are quite laid back, and you cannot do something alone. You need people that kind, like, same kind of passionate people for support, you know and that also I observed, and also I faced, and still I'm facing in my life here, in my professional life. Yes.
when you say here, you mean Assam or Mumbai?
I think it is everywhere. It is to find right people. I think it is not that easy. I'm not saying that people are not there. There are, passionate people. They want to do something in life, but it is not really easy to find people.
So
You
my
know.
last question to you, Rima, is how does following your passion of making films independently? I mean, you have, it seems, no support. How does your activity of making films translate into making ends meet in your life?
First thing, it was my fear, what I developed in Mumbai when I was looking for acting job, and also a fear of losing my freedom. And it was quite hard for me in Mumbai when I was looking for acting job. And when I developed this love for passion for cinema, I didn't want to lose my freedom. I really wanted to do something uh, the way I love, wanted to create something. I knew that this wouldn't be a easy, smooth journey for me. But I think from the beginning, I was ready that to do as much as I can do, hard work, uh, because I knew that this is my love. Because when I was acting, I don't think I was giving that much efforts. It was my dream, but I was not working. But when I started making films, so as Steve Jobs said, right, that when you like following your dream, you just cannot sleep. So that happened with me. I think when I'm traveling, sleeping, I can just films everywhere. So when I realized, okay, this is what I want to do in my life, and then I wanted freedom. I knew that, and I was hearing a lot of stories from independent filmmakers. They are making one very good film. After that, also they don't get. It is so hard for them to make a second film, and that's the reason I decided to become the producer. To survive and to continue make movies, I knew that I have to play different roles, hats. And today I'm really happy. And this film also, Tora's husband, couldn't have been possible. It's because I am the producer. I took that decision, and that's the reason it is possible that last 6 years I have made 5 films, feature films from my production house. So it's all about love for cinema, I think. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm asking you this question because maybe there are lots of ambitious young filmmakers who do not want to make masala movies because
Yeah.
the rationale is that the people want this kind of a over the board film with which costs like
Yes.
200 zeros to its cost. So just to inspire uh, passionate filmmakers who would also like to live their dream of making the kind of cinema they want to, not the kind of cinema that is uh, is uh, is made to make only money. So my question to you is: are you able to, with the love that you have for filmmaking, are you able to pay your bills with that love?
I am, till now I am. And I also believe that just do your things, to be true to your heart and yourself. And because it doesn't matter with my like film Village Rockstars, which I made in this DSLR, like 5D Mark II. What I have realized that when you are creating something you believe, and if it is working, then different windows open for you. And some people does too, like filmmakers, only aspiring filmmakers, they keep asking me, but we should not worry about future, I think. I know this is challenging. It's not that it is not challenging, but also it is making is not enough. Sometimes you are making the film, but you have to, actual journey starts uh, after you finish the film. So after that, also you have to knock all the right doors. Now we are having this theatrical release. After that, if my films are not on OTT or somewhere, then sometimes is life is not there, right? So there are things even still now. We are having every month somewhere or other screenings, not only in India, from outside also. We receive mails and calls. And after 6 years, also, like Bulbul and Village Rockstars, they are screening. So I know that, like, it is maybe for everyone is not same, but first you have to believe like in yourself, also your vision. Don't get influenced, it is your vision. And you try, you see, and be practical. Sometimes what happens, you just imagine things, and I think you have to also face it, the reality. If I am now making movies, if if it doesn't work in the way you are asking me that, oh, am I able to pay the bills? Then if I need to do in future, I have to do some other things also. I will be equally passionate and make my films. If it works for small audience, it's fine. That love is important. It might be not reaching wider audience, but it's if my audience, they are 600 or 6 lakhs, or the bigger the number, it doesn't matter. It's your love that matters.
Yes, love, that is a good note to conclude on. Love is what is most needed in every sphere of life today. I wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
for talking to the citizen.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you.